Okay, good morning, everybody, and I hope most of you you can fit into your pre-COVID jacket this this event. Okay, so the world is slowly getting back to normal, but well, that was not easy. Did you enjoy this COVID time? No, I did. Well, actually, I used to travel like 100 flights a year, and boom, I'm at home. But the good news, I had some place for jogging. So I had the dream to jog a half marathon. I did last year. I had time for trainings. Okay, well, I'm very happy to be back to Ireland, back to Dublin. Unfortunately, I don't have time to enjoy my favorite places here in the land. Tomorrow I have to get back home. Well, world is getting back to normal, but unfortunately now we're living in a little bit more complicated times because this COVID time, they accelerated cybercrime and they made our life a little bit more complicated. Well, and today I'm going to speak about transformation of cybersecurity to cyber immunity, and I'm going to explain what's that. So, cyber age. What age we are living in right now? So we were living as Homo sapiens. I guess all here are Homo sapiens, no aliens. I hope so. No leprechauns. Okay, so they say that for 1,000 years we were living in a stone age. Don't look here because the internets, they lie different numbers. Then we were living in a bronze age, iron age. Some people say that we're now in the plastic age, which I would agree because the plastic now is the most important material. And we are moving to the cyber age. Well, some people say that we are in a cyber age right now already. Not yet. I think that in the future we'll be even more depending on cyber. And the cyber will navigate our life. They will help us on the individual level. Like you're waking up in the morning, you make a coffee, you're cooking. So the fridge and coffee machine, they're connected to the cloud. They report our boss is waking up. So the cloud knows that, okay, so typically in the 45 minutes, you need a car to get to your office. So autonomous car arrives without a call or somewhere nearby waiting for you. And then they are connected to the city traffic, cloud traffic control. And the navigator, so this cloud navigator will optimize the traffic and will get you as fast as possible to your destination. In your office or in your factory, it's also there, all this cyber. Well, like the production, the factories, it's not just automatic lines, but also they're connected to the suppliers and the customers. To provide this not to the stocks but directly to the customers by request, and also all the supply and production customer chain will be hyper connected. And well, in my next life I'll be science fiction author. So I'm expecting to see the world is even better and even more fantastic. I see that still many people, they remember the world before internet. I do. No smartphones. So in 20 years from now, it will much different. So like 20 years ago, there were no online banking, if you remember. So I'm expecting to see more services, more cyber life, the better world. But unfortunately, we have problems. Cybercrime. So I split that into 3 categories. First of all, the global cybercrime. Second, the highly professional criminal gangs. And third, attacks on infrastructure, Internet of Things, and well, on the critical infrastructure as well. And I'm going to explain one by one what's that and what we're doing to neutralize these problems. So first of all, cybercrime, mass cybercrime. The numbers are huge and they're really scary. So every day we collect about 360,000 new, unique, malicious files. Different MD5s. So we never saw it before. we don't have in our archives. Well, honestly speaking, a lot of this stuff, it's made automatically, but a lot of handwork as well. So how many criminals are behind this? I don't know. But I'm not surprised, well, at least 10,000. I'm not surprised if 100,000 of criminals they're behind these numbers. Who they are? Well, actually, they are, well, honestly speaking, it's possible to investigate almost every criminal case, but there are too many. So we can see, in most of cases, we can see the language they speak. So which languages the cybercrime speaks? The most, well, we see it by the text strings which are left in the code, by localization stamps. So quite a big part of that is a neutral English. So we don't know who these guys are. But if we see the language, the top spoken language in the cyber crime is? Try again. Simplified Chinese. Simplified Chinese is the most spoken language in the cybercrime. The second language, in the past, it was Spanish and Portuguese. When I say Spanish, Portuguese, because we see the text and sometimes we don't see the difference between the Spanish and Portuguese. Now it's Russian, and Spanish, Portuguese is number 3. Then Turkish, and many other languages. So the cybercrime, the global cybercrime, it's a global problem. There are a lot of people in this business. They develop huge numbers of malicious code every day. So I'm in Ireland for 2 days. So I'll have more than 500,000 new unique samples we will collect during my stay here in Dublin. So that's a number. Bad news, scary, but technically speaking, it's not a problem. Because these criminals, they're mostly junior or middle level criminals. So we're able to process this data automatically. So we have automatic systems to collect suspicious files. So thanks for the customers or users of my product which are connected to the cloud security. It helps us to see the cybercrime better. So we have automatic collection systems. We exchange the new samples with our competitors. So with our competitors, with other cybersecurity companies, we cooperate by exchanging new materials, radioactive materials. Then we have technologies to understand what's that. So we have like a kind of face control, smell control, behavior control. We're checking relatives. So we have smart systems to process this data. So finally, 99.999% of incoming stuff is processed automatically. So we simply need to make our robots better. So technically speaking, it's not a problem. The problem is that some of these guys, some of them they're arrested. It's a good news. The bad news is that some of these guys, they're getting smarter. They are learning. They exchange technologies. They buy technologies, and they join professional criminal gangs. APTs. Well, today I'm going to speak about cybercrime only, not about the state-sponsored espionage tools, just about cybercrime. So that's two different stories. So we see hundreds. It's my lab reported me that we have more than 900 professional criminal gangs right now. They're able to develop very complicated, very sophisticated technologies, criminal technologies, hackers technologies, and they hack even very well-protected enterprises. Well, 4 years ago, there was much less. Unfortunately, the number of professional gangs is growing very fast. And the first one, I think it was in 2014, it was a Carbonac. Do you remember Carbonac? It was a Russian-speaking gang which were hacking their banks, banks which invest a lot into cybersecurity. So they were able to rob the banks, and they had about €1 billion stolen within 2 years. And they had partners network. So they were like, there was hundreds of people there. And the mules transporting money from country to country. So that was a big story. So if you Google that, you will find a lot of interesting data about the Carbonac case. But Carbonac was in 2014. Now we see much more gangs which are on the same level or even worse. So who these guys are? Most of the professional criminal gangs, highly professional criminal gangs, speak Russian. Thanks to Russian technical education system. Well, Russian, sorry? Oh, yeah. So the Russian software engineers are the best. It's not my word. So once I had a panel with, and it was a Condoleezza Rice on the panel. She turned to me and she said, "Oh, Russian software engineers are the best." I said, 100% agree. So Russian software engineers are the best. Condoleezza Rice. Russian cyber criminals are the worst. Eugene Kaspersky. That's reality. So let's say the Russian speaking. Well, I didn't say citizens of Russia. Russian speaking. So the people which has a Russian technical education background, graduated from Russian or Soviet technical universities, they are the best or the worst, depending on what they're doing. The most aggressive and most annoying, maybe Chinese. So on the top of these parameters, they're Russian speaking, then Chinese speaking, and then from time to time, other nations as well. Unfortunately, they develop quite complicated technologies, and we need to have more skilled engineers and better technologies to protect our customers from this kind of attacks, but we do it. I'm not going to get into the details. I'm not a marketing guy. Well, I am, but just a little bit. So if you want to learn more, you can just click the link here or follow the QR code. So I have a proof that we are the best. Recently, there was a test of the infamous ransom attack, and there was how different security products behave, how they protect you from ransom attacks, and why ransom attacks, they're so infamous, right? So much noise about that. Do you know why? Okay, don't look here. So if you take the ransom attacks and how security products behave, so WatchGuard, 62% of protection, Symantec, 57, Trend Micro, 55, Microsoft, 50, Bitdefender, 45, and rest. So the most of the security names, they guarantee 50% or less protection. It's a fake security. You are not protected. Well, I'm very proud to say that there is a product. Now, to be honest, I was so surprised to see why there's so much noise about ransom attacks. It was in 2018, 2019. But it's not a problem for our customers. So we made the research. Unfortunately, it was postponed because of COVID. Finally, there was a test, independent test by German AV test lab. So that's the answer. So I know if I see someone is badly hacked by a ransom attack, it's simply the message that they are not my customers. Why do we do that? They're modern cybersecurity products. It's not like in the past signature-based scanners. It's much, much more complicated. There are different layers of security. Well, still signature-based scanners. Then the smart signatures. Then the behavior control. And many, many, many other layers. So our ransom, the anti-ransom layer is made perfectly. Not like with the rest of the cybersecurity industry. Well, to be honest, it's a shame. Shame on cybersecurity industry. And I am representative of cybersecurity industry. I will say, yes, it is. So, back to previous slide. So it is possible. These guys, they're very professional. These guys, that's a problem. But technically speaking, we can solve this problem with new technologies and with the new layers of protection. The problem is, now they hack only office networks. So only the office part of the cyber systems. Unfortunately, they are slowly shifting to industrial systems and Internet of Things. Mirai botnet, if you remember, it was the largest scale of attack and still alive because people don't care about the security cameras. Well, they care about security cameras when they're driving, but not when they're infected. And industrial. So we are very lucky that there are still not many attacks on the SCADA networks. There's still, we can count that by fingers on the one hand, the cases which we know, which were reported. But I also have a feedback from our industrial customers, and they say, so the SCADA networks, they're getting more and more connected to the internet, and they have more and more visitors to SCADA networks. So the criminals, they coming to the industrial network, but they don't understand what's that, and they leave. I'm afraid it's just a question of time when the bad guys, highly professional, Russian-speaking, Chinese-speaking, or the cyber gangs which are managed by professional hackers, and the rest of the gang will speak any language, they will turn to the industrial systems. I have a good news as well. We can handle that. And we have industrial security endpoint and network security for SCADA networks. So that's traditional endpoint security adapted for industrial needs, understanding the SCADA protocols, watching the PLCs, etc., etc., etc. We have it. It's a good news. If you recognize, I have a good news and bad news. Leaving the good news behind me and following the bad news. So the bad news is that for production of some not so critical things, that's enough. But if it's critical infrastructure, cybersecurity simply doesn't work. Why? Cybersecurity, it's a kind of risk management. You can estimate your risks. How much you lose from your pocket if your mobile phone is hacked. How much you lose if your company network is paralyzed. And for a couple of 3 days, 1 week, you have to get back to the paperwork. You can estimate how much you lose if your bank account, your enterprise bank account is hacked, so you have to get money back of all that. So you invest into cybersecurity to balance this risk. It works for individual and office security. When it comes to the critical infrastructure, the damage is unpredictable. Critical infrastructure is power grid, urban facilities, transportation, healthcare. I'm in Ireland. Guinness. Yes. In Italy, I say coffee. So, in case of critical infrastructure, the damage could be the size comparable to the national economy, if it's power grid. It could be any size. So, cybersecurity doesn't compensate the risks. You have to invest more and more and more, and still the necessary level of security will be unreachable. What to do? Immunity. What's the difference between security and immunity? Security is mask on your face. Immunity, I am 3 times vaccinated. So, immunity. What's immunity is? The systems which are secure by design. And my definition of immunity is the system is immune if the cost of the successful attack must be more than possible damage. So if you have €1 million turbine, the cost of attack must be more than €1 million. How estimate the cost of attack? Welcome to Darknet. There are many mercenaries. Show them the system and ask them, how much do you want to hack it? So that's how can you estimate the cost of the attack. How can we build the system secure by design? There could be many ideas, many different ways to do that. And we are following the way of Immune platform. It's an Immune operating system, which we are working on this system for almost 20 years. Well, that's a long story. Next time I'll tell you. So this operating system is not Linux, it's not Microsoft Windows. It's very compact. It's not as flexible as we want to have, but it has a strict limitation with a freedom for behavior. So all the operating system and applications, they're split into micro modules. And these micro modules, they have a prescribed trusted behavior. So every piece of the system can behave within a limited, with limited abilities. So if your calculator, you have access only to the keyboard and to the screen, not to the internet. If your turbine, you have access to the turbine only. So every piece of the system is not just isolated, it's much more strict. It's not a sandboxing. It's much more complicated. We have a security layer. And all the pieces of the system, they can talk to each other only through the security layer. And security layer checks permissions. If you have permission to do that, please. If not, don't ask. So it's a kind of a prison for applications. So like in prison, in every cell, it's an untrusted person, but the system itself is trusted. Immune. So, in our case, if a model is compromised, it can't get to the rest of the system. If you get their traditional design, you know, I don't need to explain it. So, well, actually, this is, again, it's not Unix, it's not Linux, it's made from the scratch. That's why we're working on it for such a long time. And it's not as complicated, it's not as functional as Linux, Unix, Microsoft, Mac, iOS, Android. No, it has a very limited functionality, and still, I don't know how to make such a kind of functionality like complete backup. It's not possible here. So we don't let any of this piece or any of the models the complete access to hold the system. Forbidden. So that's why backup for the whole system is not possible. But the cloud backup for every model, yes, please. Then remote management. No. So this system has many limitations. So it's not to replace Microsoft Windows or Google, Android. It's for different things. That's for Internet of Things and industrial systems. And I have a very good news. We have already, not we, our partner companies. We have first the thin client based on our Immune operating system. We have industrial gateway. We have IoT gateway. Soon we'll have security cameras based on that. Still not SCADA systems developed on the top of that, but it's coming. So we developed this thing for critical infrastructure, which is SCADA systems and Internet of Things, which manage our life. So that's a final very good news. So I believe that the world, the cyber age, will be designed from the scratch and in a different way. Maybe on the top of my operating system, maybe on the top of some similar ideas, but it's not, there's no space for the old design, no space for the traditional operating system because they are vulnerable. So I believe that without cyber immune, cyber immunity, without cyber immune systems, the systems which are secure by design, there's no way to the perfect cyber age. And I very hope, I dream that we'll get there before I retire. Thank you. Do we have time for questions? Any questions? Sorry.
When we're speaking of segregation and separation, some things about Titanic.
Okay.
Well, I say here in Ireland, Eugene, that Titanic was built in Ireland, but was saved by the English.
Yes. Thank you. But that's not the question. That's okay. Okay. Any question? Could you please repeat? Yes, of course. Yes. So we have 2 events with our operating system, with our platform. So we have an event for partner companies to develop, to enable new businesses on the top of our operating system. And we have, it's a course day, we call it. And we have course night for developers and bug bounty and pen testers. Welcome to our webpage and you'll see that all the details. So we have course day, course night. Yes, please. So we stay with Ferrari. Yes, if you don't know, we sponsor Ferrari Formula One. So you can see our logo on these cars. Unfortunately, our products, they run faster than Ferrari. And Ferrari, the factory and the office are protected with our products, industrial and office, and they are very happy. But I am not happy with. But Ferrari is a very nice team. So actually, from the very beginning, they were behaving in a very trusted way. So it's a pleasure to have business with the companies which you trust and which behave in the right way. And it's like it's business and like a friendship. So we stay with Ferrari for more years. I hope that finally they will get. Okay, so I am on the Facebook, on the Instagram, have blogs, and definitely will have some stories about this visit to Ireland. So if you want to follow me, do it. It's not boring anymore. Well, when I travel, I like to have a business, and if you have time for some fun, unfortunately not this time. I think that the weather is absolutely perfect to get to Moyer Rocks. I've been there once. It was a chilly rain, so but to get to the better weather. Unfortunately not this time. Next time I'll go. So I've been in many nice places around the world. So if you're boring to stay in the same place because of COVID, you can check what I'm doing in which location. Sometimes it's very funny. Yes, I go. I have a story. This February, January, I enjoyed minus 58 Celsius, somewhere in the middle of Siberia. Thank you so much. Don't do that.